If you believe a hug is simply a polite gesture, you are already missing the most revealing moment of the interaction. What unsettles most men is not what she says, but what she does without speaking, and nothing exposes emotional truth faster than touch. A woman's embrace is rarely neutral. It is an unfiltered transmission of her internal state, delivered before her mind has time to organize language. If you are not trained to read it, you will walk away thinking nothing happened, while her body may have just told you everything. Touch bypasses performance. It bypasses social scripts. It communicates through pressure, duration, breath, and proximity. When she steps into your space and wraps her arms around you, her nervous system is making a decision about safety, attraction, and emotional access in real time. Most men respond mechanically. They return the gesture with equal force, wait for it to end, and move on. What they fail to understand is that those few seconds are a psychological exchange. Her body leans in or holds back depending on how secure she feels in your presence. If her embrace is brief and light, her nervous system remains guarded. If it lingers, if her weight settles into you, if her breathing slows against your chest, she is signaling trust without announcing it. Trust is not declared. It is enacted, and touch is one of its purest expressions. The pressure of her arms reveals intention. A tight embrace followed by an abrupt release often reflects emotional conflict. She wants closeness, but she does not fully trust it yet. A seamless, slow embrace with gradual separation indicates alignment. Her system relaxes because it feels stable. Stability is the foundation of attraction, even when the moment feels romantic or spontaneous. Attraction does not grow from intensity alone. It grows from regulated emotion. When she presses into your chest, she is unconsciously evaluating your internal steadiness. Your body becomes a reference point. If you tense, shift restlessly, or disengage quickly, her nervous system registers inconsistency. If you remain calm, grounded, and unhurried, you communicate security without words. Security invites vulnerability. Vulnerability deepens connection. This chain reaction happens beneath awareness. Most men attempt to create attraction through conversation, humor, or visible effort, yet the body often decides long before the mind justifies the feeling. The duration of her hug matters because time equals choice. Every second she remains close is a second she is allowing herself to experience connection. If she releases immediately, she is protecting emotional distance. If she lingers even slightly beyond social norms, she is testing comfort. That lingering moment is rarely accidental. It is her subconscious asking whether you are emotionally safe enough to lean into. When she rests her head briefly against you, she is seeking grounding. When her hands trace slightly down your back before pulling away, she is measuring chemistry. These micro movements are not rehearsed. They are instinctual responses to how your presence makes her feel. Your responsibility is not to exaggerate your reaction. It is to notice without overreacting. Awareness without urgency signals maturity. Urgency signals need. Need destabilizes power dynamics because it places emotional control in her hands. The man who remains composed within closeness communicates that he is not overwhelmed by access. He does not chase deeper contact in the moment. He does not extend the hug artificially to extract reassurance. He allows the exchange to unfold naturally. Detachment in this context is not coldness. It is self-containment. When you are internally steady, her body senses it. Human beings mirror each other's regulation patterns automatically. If your breathing slows and your posture remains grounded, her nervous system adapts. If you rush, stiffen, or over-engage, she absorbs that tension. Emotional leadership begins with internal alignment, not external instruction. Many men misunderstand this and attempt to amplify the moment with words immediately after. They break the silence with commentary or compliments, diluting the emotional charge. Silence after a hug can be more powerful than speech. A brief pause, sustained eye contact, and relaxed posture communicate confidence. Confidence is not loud, it is controlled. It does not demand confirmation. It allows space. Space is essential because imagination thrives in it. When she steps back from you and maintains proximity instead of immediately increasing distance, she is signaling continued openness. If she adjusts her clothing or looks away quickly, she may be recalibrating emotionally. Neither reaction requires confrontation. It requires observation. Observation allows you to detect patterns over time. Patterns reveal emotional truth more accurately than isolated moments. If her hugs gradually become warmer, longer, and more relaxed, attraction is building organically. If they become shorter and less engaged, emotional distance may be forming. Your response should never be pursuit-driven. Pursuit in response to withdrawal confirms imbalance. Instead, maintain consistency. Consistency stabilizes dynamics. Stability creates respect. Respect precedes durable attraction. Power in these exchanges does not belong to the person who initiates touch. It belongs to the person who remains internally unchanged by it. If a hug excites you, that is natural, but your composure must remain intact. When you demonstrate that closeness does not destabilize you, you elevate your position subtly. Emotional self-control is deeply attractive because it signals that you are not dependent on validation. Validation-seeking energy is detectable. It alters tone, posture, and breathing. She may not consciously articulate it, but she will feel it. Feeling governs attachment more than logic ever will. A hug is also a diagnostic tool for compatibility. If your natural rhythm aligns with hers, the embrace will feel synchronized. Breathing patterns will harmonize. Release will occur mutually rather than awkwardly. This synchronization reflects emotional compatibility. If there is persistent stiffness or mismatch, it indicates differing comfort levels that conversation alone cannot repair. Understanding this saves you from chasing explanations. You do not need to interrogate her feelings. Her body often reveals them before she does. The mistake most men make is assuming that intensity equals progress. A very tight hug does not always indicate deep attraction. It can indicate anxiety. The difference lies in fluidity. Anxiety-driven closeness feels tense and abrupt. Attraction-driven closeness feels steady and grounded. Learning to distinguish between these states requires attention to subtle cues rather than dramatic gestures. When she exhales deeply into you, she is releasing tension. When she inhales sharply and withdraws quickly, she is protecting herself. These physiological signals are honest. They bypass social politeness. The deeper principle is this: attraction responds to emotional safety and measured unpredictability. If you are overly eager, you remove mystery. If you are emotionally distant, you remove warmth. The balance is calm engagement. During a hug, calm engagement means you meet her energy without escalating it. You do not grip tighter to claim ownership. You do not pull away to assert control. You remain present. Presence communicates strength more effectively than dominance ever could. After the hug ends, the aftermath matters as much as the contact itself. If you immediately seek reassurance through questions or exaggerated compliments, you lower your position. If you remain relaxed and continue interaction naturally, you signal that the moment was meaningful but not destabilizing. That balance builds intrigue. Intrigue fuels curiosity. Curiosity deepens emotional investment. Over time, these micro-exchanges accumulate into a perception of you as grounded, self-directed, and emotionally intelligent. She begins to associate your presence with regulation rather than volatility. Regulation creates attachment security. Attachment security fosters long-term desire. The hug then transforms from a greeting into a confirmation of alignment. You are not decoding it to manipulate her response. You are decoding it to calibrate your own behavior. Calibration prevents overextension. Overextension erodes respect. Respect is sustained when your actions remain proportional and controlled. Ultimately, the silent language of her hug is not a puzzle to exploit. It is feedback. It reveals how your presence affects her internal world. If you learn to read it without chasing it, you gain clarity. Clarity allows you to act from intention rather than impulse. And when a man operates from intention, he becomes centered. A centered man does not seek to extract meaning desperately from every interaction. He observes, adjusts subtly, and maintains internal authority. That internal authority is the true source of attraction. Not the hug itself, not the words that follow, but the steady composure you bring into and out of the moment. When you understand this, you stop trying to force connection. You begin to recognize it. And recognition, grounded in calm awareness, quietly shifts the entire dynamic in your favor without a single word spoken.